Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Baby B. Thanks for kicking it with me. How y'all doing? We are back with another episode of our video games turn movie in review. So let's go ahead and talk about the next big series that was turned into a television show that I love. We are talking about Arkane, another Netflix original. Arkane is based off the world of League of Legends. If you're not a League of Legends fan, you should check it out. I originally was not a League of Legends fan. I never understood why my friends played it. They wasted all their time on League of Legends. They missed out on great other video games, in my opinion. However, I really got into the LCS, which is the pro League of Legends esports here in the United States. And over the past 3 years, I'm on my third season now. Over the past 3 years, I've really come to love and enjoy watching those guys work so hard for the North American region and try to make it to Worlds and do their best in Worlds when they make it. So if you have never given League of Legends a chance, I highly recommend it. Even if it's just to watch the LCS. They come on every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's 1 to 6 or 7, Saturday, Sunday, Friday. It is 5 to 9. So make sure you check that out. Pretty cool stuff. They got 4 matches a day. They usually last about 30 minutes each match. 30 minutes to 50 minutes, somewhere in there. So if you want to try and play the game, play the game. It's fun too. Just make sure you have a friend who's played it before who can walk you through the ropes, right? Because it's a very intensive game that you have to know a lot about. But we're not here to talk about the game. We're here to talk about the TV show that came from the game. The TV show called Arkane. Now, if you have not seen Arkane, what are you doing? First off, Arkane, I'm not going to beat around the bush. It is a 10 out of 10 show. If I could give this show 11 out of 10, 12 out of 10, 13 out of 10, I would give it 100 out of 10. Arkane is amazing, y'all. Arkane is the type of show that you watch and then you have to rewatch and really think about what you're seeing. Because it is, chef's kiss, beautiful. Okay? Beautiful. Now, I have a caveat to that. If you are not an animated movie television fan, you may not like Arkane because it is completely animated. If you don't care, or if you love animation, you're going to love this show. Even if you don't like animation, I suggest giving it a try because you still may be surprised and like this show. That's how good this show is. Honestly, I expect this show to win several awards. That's how good it is. This show starts off, and this is my spoiler-free review for those who are just joining. I will be going over a spoiler section later on in this video, but right now you do not have to worry about spoilers. This show starts out with you have a battle raging, right? Any great story, you have conflict. You have the underground versus topside. Underground is a you've got a rough group of people who are just living, trying to survive. They do drugs, they do illegal things, they sell different illegal weapons. They have all these kind of things that they just try to get by with, right? Whereas topside seems to be like the main government. You have the people of status and wealth up in the top side. And the underground and the top side don't like each other. Underground doesn't like top side. Top side doesn't like underground. So you have this constant conflict. But the two characters that this show really focuses on are these two characters named Jinx and Vi. It starts out Powder and Vi, which is Violet. And these two characters, they follow other characters, but these are the two really main characters that they follow around for the majority of the show. And those are the two characters we start off with. They really focus on these two characters, learning about who these two sisters are and where they come from in the underground, because they are a poorer, it's established in the first, 10 minutes that these two are very poor in status and that they are part of the underground. Well, the cool thing about Arkane is you don't just see their story, because like other TV shows that's really popular right now, Arkane jumps around. They jump around and follow several different characters. And the other big set of characters that they're following, you have Jace and Caitlyn. So another group of characters who are topsiders, who really are kind of living the good life. You don't have to worry about them much. They do their own thing, but you don't really have to worry about them. And it's interesting to see how the underground people live versus the top side. That's another amazing thing about this show. But that's not all that makes Arkane amazing. I mean, we could just go on and on and on about the story, which is, like I said before, chef's kiss. But I want to talk about the art direction. If you've seen any anime or animated TV show or any cartoon or anything like that, throw your expectations out the window. Because this show follows more of the line of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where the art style is just so different and so beautiful that it's like, whoa, what am I watching? These people have crafted something that is just magical. And I don't know if they're painted or hand-drawn, but it just looks different. And I don't know how to describe it without just saying, go watch it. Like, you will see that the colors pop, the characters pop. Everything about this artistically is beautiful. These designers and artists have worked their tail off and put in so much detail that it is amazing. And it's a disservice to them if you at least don't give it a shot. The other thing that makes Arkane amazing, besides the art, the story, you have the voice acting, which they just nailed, man. Every single character you feel for. And it's not because of the story and the way they're written, it's because of the pain and the hurt that you feel in their voices. And that's what I love. When you look for a story, you look for everything that I said. You look for set design, you look for characters, you look for makeup, you look for camera angles. Well, you've got all that on Arkane, but on an animated scale. And with Arkane, the other thing that you look for, instead of actors, you have voice actors. But let me tell you, these guys aren't just voice actors. These guys are freaking actors, right? These guys are slaying it on a whole different level, because there's not a character in this show that you don't care about because of the voice actors. Now, the other thing that is absolutely amazing in the show is the music. From the beginning opening scene, we have a banger of an opening credits scene. It's like they go Game of Thrones, and everyone knows how iconic the Game of Thrones opening scene is. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Arkane brings it to the next level. They get the famous band, one of my favorites, Imagine Dragons, and they sing the song Enemy. And Enemy pretty much describes what the series is about. Everyone's gonna be my enemy. And that's what the whole show's about. Everyone's an enemy. You don't know who's for you, who's against you. If you make it to the top, the people hate you. If you're at the bottom, the people hate you. It doesn't matter. And that song just matches the whole vibe of the show. Now, I do find it interesting. JID does a part in the song where he's rapping. And I love it because I listen to the song on repeat sometimes. But they choose to cut it for the opening scene, which is understandable because it kind of doesn't fit the rest of the show. But it's amazing in itself. And it just sets the tone for the rest of the music and the ambience. So, again, if you've not seen it, it's on Netflix. Go check the show Arkane out. You will not regret it. Now, let's get into my spoiler discussion. Arkane, the characters are just, the dynamics between the characters and how the story unfolds and intertwines. You learn more about Violet. You learn more about Powder as Powder turns into Jinx. You learn more about each of those characters. And you watch good guys turn into bad guys. You watch bad guys get sympathy and not necessarily turn good, but really pull at your heartstrings. And I think that is what makes a special show. I had a friend who I kind of agree with. He brought up the fact that, there are a lot of dark moments in this show. And there are a lot of dark moments. There are times when you're watching and it's like, man, this is kind of hard to watch. These two little girls, you watch their family get killed right in front of them. You watch a man lose his best friend as his best friend gets incinerated in front of him. The girl that was going to propose and tell him that she loved him get incinerated in front of him. You see a man who gives up all his hopes and dreams to try and obtain power. And then you see a guy who was broken and who messed up in his past, and that past caught up to him and kind of devoured him in the end. And all these things are hard, man. But there is hope in the show. And I think that's what some people miss is there is hope in the show. There's a point where you see this underground city being built on an opposite side of the underground, away from the drugs and the violence and all that. And it's really cool because it's run by this little guy. I'm drawing a blank on his name. It's being run by one of the main characters that's introduced in the beginning, and then one of the characters from the top side comes and he sees this underground city. His name's Heimerdinger. He's the professor at one of the great universities of science. And he sees this city being built, and he's like, man, you're building something beautiful here. And he's like, how can I help? And in the end, that's kind of, there's a moment where Jinx is fighting Violet, and there's all this craziness that has happened. Jinx is finally snapped. Violet has finally shared her feelings with Caitlyn. They have kind of fallen in love, and Jinx grabs this bazooka and aims it up at Topside, and she just screams and lets out all this fury and pent-up rage and everything that she's had, and she just fires this bazooka into the air, and you watch it in slow motion as it flies to the council, where they are having a discussion of how they can team up and partner with the underground and make it a better place after they've tried starting war all throughout the movie. And then you see these cool close-up shots. Some of them are of hope. Some of them are of anger. Some of them are of despair with the drugs. Others are with scared of the bomb that's been shot into the air. They see it and they're scared. But there is a lot of hope that's shown. Of course, it ends with the bomb going close up on the council window, and Jace is standing there, and he just kind of, his mouth just drops. So it's going to be interesting when season 2 comes out to see where they pick up. But there is a redeeming quality in some of these characters, and I'm going to be interested to see what they do with them down the road. And unfortunately, it took 6 years to make this series. I mean, it's phenomenal. Like I said, I can see why it took 6 years. I just hope it doesn't take another 6 years for the next season to come out, because I am in love with this show. If you have not seen Arkane, I want to tell you all, you got to check it out. It's fun from the start to the finish. It's really great. There is a weird scene somewhere in the middle where the opening song that I told you, Enemy, they randomly have Imagine Dragons, the animated version of Imagine Dragons, start playing like garbage in the street, and they start singing Enemy. And it's like this weird music video moment, and they actually use that as their music video online. So it's interesting, but like I said, it's a beautiful show. And despite some of the moments where it jumps around, or where, they are heavy in dialogue and emotional interactions between characters, it's a beautiful thing to watch. If you have not seen it, make sure you give it a chance, because they deserve it. 10 out of 10. Great show. Netflix knocked it out of the park. If you are a fan of video games, if you're a fan of movies and television or anime, make sure that you tickle the like button, you poke the subscribe button, and until next time, peace out, y'all.